Oh, there we go. That was a bit of trouble, but yes, good morning to you all. Welcome to the Good Morning Walk from a different-ish location. Same place, just a different location, different choice, say, jumping on point. Unfortunately, yesterday when I went to have a look, shall we say, if it was okay to stream down there, or shall we say, not just stream, but if it was all right, shall we say, or at least viable enough for me to walk, because I don't know if you were with me last time we were walking down there. It was an absolute nightmare. Like I say, it's a bit muddy. Crowban, good morning to you. Like I say, yes, welcome to a bit of a Sunday good morning walk. But it's a good morning walk nevertheless, partly because if you haven't seen recently, if you live in the UK, it's been absolutely tipping it down, and to be honest, I'm already walking along this path and it's already a bit muddy. Anyway, Cathal OG, good morning to you. Dave W, good morning to you as well. Like I say, good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Walk. And part of the reason I wanted to at least walk along this way a bit is to show you why. If you can just, oh, hang on, make sure I don't get stuck in the mud, standing here for too long. As you can see, field's a bit flooded. Field is very, very flooded at the moment. So unfortunately, like I say, it's a bit too muddy almost. I think, to be honest, depending on how this mud goes, we might be probably in the future for a good morning indoor walks, at least until this rain gets drained off. Okay, looks like a moist morning. Oh, it's very, very much so. And Bakura, good morning to you as well. But oh my, yes, what a morning. What a difficult morning. But anyway, we'll try our best, and like I say, I want at least a footpath, so it might be, and I say might be all right. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yes, we've got troubles ahead, unfortunately. Very, very big troubles. For those of you who've been keeping an eye on the channel this week, I'm going to have, I think, some very hungry cows at the moment. But for those of you keeping an eye on the channel this week, we've had... Bullinfield, there he is. Oh, there's two of them. Yes, morning to you as well. So yeah, if you've been keeping an eye on the channel this week, you'll certainly know we've been following along with at least the news that there has been progress being made in regards to the Northern Ireland Protocol. Now, this is quite significant because it's been a while, a good while, since we've had anything like that in a positive sense regarding the Northern Ireland Protocol, that's for sure. But unfortunately, of course, as you very well may know, any negotiations, especially from the viewpoint of the Brexiteers, are seen as absolute capitulation to the EU. And how dare Rishi Sunak capitulate himself to the government. Yeah, it was a bad day for Ben Habib. Yeah, it was. It was. Like I say, in both those Express articles, like I say, we ended up covering him twice. It was just a bit too much Ben Habib for me. But it's not just, of course, Ben Habib that's been, should we say, active. NXX, what are your thoughts on New Labour? Hang on, let me just, careful. There we go. Safely does it first. So when it comes to sort of New Labour, I think you've got to look at it holistically. And there's a lot of people say that's a massive cop-out. But look, Tony Blair did a lot of good things. He also did a lot of bad things as well. And I think that you've got to take sometimes the good with the bad. Did he leave the country in a better state off than he found it? Absolutely. And then, of course, the 2008 crash hit, and that caused itself a lot of problems. Are they good at the moment, I suppose, is your real question? Nah. I have hopes. I generally do have hopes. I've said before, on this channel, sometimes, especially when it comes to politics, you're never going to get 100% of what you want. I think we've had the Starmer come out and say, look, we can't be scared of reforming the NHS. And I think he's right. I think the NHS has a lot of troubles, and I think that we can't be scared to reform it, because it is a service and it should be providing, a good service for us all. So I think that needs to be examined and looked at about how we can provide a better service. I don't think there's anyone would disagree that, the NHS is in a bit of a bad state at the moment. So anything, to be honest, that Starmer can do to improve it, I'm all for. Absolutely all for. So that's my, I suppose you can take my thoughts on sort of New Labour really from that. But back to the matter at hand, of course, the Northern Ireland Protocol. Like I say, we've been covering that this week on the channel, and already, of course, it went from there had been good progress, we had made good on this data sharing deal that had come forward, and that was a good sign of progress in these negotiations, and that things were going all right. Things were going all right. There were problems. They were trying to be at least solved through negotiations, because that's how all these problems currently at the moment we are seeing in and around the current Brexit deal need to be solved. They can only be solved by negotiations and sitting down around the table and discussing with them. But of course, as we've said before, any negotiations that are, again, seen by the Brexiteers will always be seen as capitulation. And this all kicked off, as you may remember, last weekend, where the Brexiteers came out and made demands, certainly in and around the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill. They've also made demands about the EU Reform and Legislation Bill. That also comes up for a vote this week in Parliament, not only just in Parliament, but I think it goes then to the House of Lords, I think. But it has been heavily amended by opposition parties. So it isn't going through in certainly its original form, but certainly needs to be taken a look at in. Oh, hang on, Bakura. Let me just get through here. Certainly needs to be taken a look at through, shall we say, a bit more rational eyes, shall we say, than certainly what Rees-Mogg is proposing with this bill. Anyway, Bakura. Does the data sharing deal mean that we're still subject to GDPR? Because I understand the data reform bill going through Parliament, it means to repeal it. No, the data reform bill is a bit of a change between the two things. The data sharing is more about the trade data. We are still potentially looking at GDPR. Unfortunately, oh, hang on. Oh my God, I don't know if you can see him. Hang on, let's see. Let's see if we can zoom in. He's there, the heron. Can you see him? He's there. Zoomed right in. So excuse me if you can see my eye. There he is. Heron. Oh, there he goes. Oh, there we go. Your video's pretty pixelated, we can't see it very well. Oh no. Oh no. Damn. I've been after a good picture of that heron since I've started walking down here, and he's a crafty bird. Always flies away, always hiding in new spots, never the same place twice. Oh, anyway, where were we? Yes, GDPR. Unfortunately, Bakura, it is very likely that GDPR could be changed, unfortunately, very significantly. There we go. Oop. There we go. Just making sure we're back to normal. So that is going to cause a lot of problems, especially for people in my industry. I mean, we went through 2 years of warning people, you know, you've got to be ready for GDPR, and you know, with good reason, you know, to be sensible stuff to be ready for. But it just means, you know, taking the sensible decision about GDPR. And of course, if we remain in GDPR, that means that businesses, and certainly most service, you know, businesses, will be able to function. Oh, there's a bunny. Oh, never mind. Missed him. Too late. Oh, anyway, where were we? David Quatermass, good morning, everyone. Oh, good morning to you, David. Everyone, your channel's some of the best commentary on the mess made by the Conservative loons. Oh, well, thank you very much, David. Well, I'll be doing a video, actually, this afternoon, later on today. Oops. We'll be having a look at Conservative Home later on today, because they've got some hilarious articles by one guy who thinks he knows how he can save the Conservative Party. Hilarious. But I'll save that for the video later on. Pixelated. Oh, good morning, Ben, as well. General strike is even more probability this year. That is probable. I think it is very, very much in the direction of these strike laws that Rishi Sunak is putting in, and you know, as they said, it's very, very likely all the unions are going to kick off. And of course, what happens? They've all kicked off. Oh, Prinny Bird, good morning to you. If you saw Mick Lynch and the RMT and the other union heads in recently, I think, you know, they asked, oh, are the, you know, is Labour really secretly controlling your strikes? Is Labour the ones behind all this, you know? And I think they just laughed in their faces, quite rightly so, to be honest. So that was pretty funny to see this week as well. On that. Oh, what else has happened this week? Like I say, it's, to be honest, this week, you know, the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill, we're probably going to end up talking about that, certainly, a lot this week. That's for sure. Loki's children. Oh, pretty well. Greetings, good morning to you. Loki's children. I'm in favour of general strike since Tories took the country back in time to the 1970s. Yep. Like I say, I think we're going to have a general strike as well. I think it's there, you know, it's been on the cards, and it's pretty obvious it's going to happen. It's really just a matter of course, when and how the organisation of it all takes place. I think that the unions, to be honest, are already, from what we can see in talks about that, they've all pretty much indicated they're going to have a massive day of industrial action coming up. Oh, Chthonic, good morning to you. Ahoy there to you as well, Chthonic. Good morning to you, or good evening to you, with your Canadian time. So, yeah, I think there is. I think we're gonna have a massive day of action coming up at the moment, and the civil servant strike. I've seen coming up. Oh, hang on, Bakura. I'm gonna make sure I just get through this first. You know, the civil servant strike that I've been talking about, they've indicated this week that they will be going on strike, and of course Jacob Rees-Mogg's response was, how is anyone going to notice that you've gone on strike when you're all working from home? As if it's like, you know, some, you know, ultimate gotcha. And you're like, no, Jacob, they're working from home. Just because they're working from home doesn't mean they're not working. So yeah, that was pretty funny to see his attempt at a gotcha. Didn't succeed in any way. Bakura, did you see Braverman not apologise to the Holocaust survivor for our language on the Home Office trying to pressure the video to be removed? No, I didn't see that. But it doesn't surprise me. Civil service strike 1st of February, yep. I told you it was coming. I told you there was going to be a civil service strike, and yeah, it's happened. Doesn't surprise me. Like I say, I think with just everyone going on strike at the moment, it was inevitable that it was going to happen, and we have seen this big day of action coming and take place. And of course the government are still trying to hide behind, oh, it's not our fault, it's these pay review boards, it's the pay review board not paying you. And then the pay review boards are going, well, if you give us permission to help sort this out, we could do it. Ben Ridings, if Jacob Rees-Mogg didn't attend Parliament, would anyone notice? I say, I don't think anyone would notice, to be honest. In the Museum of Mercia, one of the pictures of the general strike has my granddad in it. Would love to take part in the next one. Mark is an escapee from a Brunel painting, yeah. Oh, Metaphor morning walk. Ball hat man is walking through the mire. He's about to talk about Brexit. Yeah. We've already been talking about Brexit, but yeah, honestly, prepare for this week to be a lot about the ongoings in and around the Northern Ireland Protocol. There was apparently a meeting already. The DUP MPs have gone to see Rishi Sunak. We don't know what was discussed, but I expect probably today in the Sunday papers, it's going to get a good discussion. Highly suspect that could be the case. Oh, but while you are here, more people on the stream helps get more people in. And, you know, if I do fall over in the mud, more people see it. So, Oh, but yeah, please do remember to do that. Like I say, it helps. Whoops, out the channel. So, I think with the Northern Ireland Protocol, we're going to have a good week of it, essentially. I think we're going to have a real good week of talking about the protocol this week. I don't think that, to be honest, anyone's not going to be talking about it this week, because we've once actually had good progress, and then, of course, what's happened, all the Tory Brexiteers are freaking out about this. Oh, and of course we've got new blackmail stuff from Boris Johnson. I don't know if you've heard about this. So Boris Johnson has apparently said, according to some close friends and aides, he said that he will not remove Rishi Sunak if Sunak gives him a safe seat at the next general election. That's not going to make a lot of people very happy. That's not going to make a lot of people very happy. I can tell you that now. Because his Uxbridge seat, from what we can tell, is very, very much under threat. And he wants a more, shall we say, safer seat. He knows it. So he's trying to sort of secure, shall we say, his future safety. Certainly in the Conservative Party. Of course, what the reaction to that is going to be, I don't know. Of course, this is all, shall we say, second-hand information from, some of Boris's close allies. And to be honest, if I was Sunak, he needs to stand up to these people. Oh, Jamie Mack, good morning, my first walk live. Oh, good morning and welcome. Unfortunately, like I say, I think I've told some of you earlier on, I wasn't able to stream yesterday because I went down to the field, and if you live in the UK, you know how wet and rainy it has been for the past couple of weeks, and it has absolutely turned the field into an absolute quagmire. So if you saw us last week, where we were literally at one point having to wade through an incredibly muddy field, well, it's even worse today. So we've sort of changed locations. I'm taking a different route. It's sort of the same area walking in, but just a different part of it. Certainly not on the field, because, like I say, it's absolutely complete quagmire down there at the moment. So that's for sure. Ooh. Jordan Kate, Sunak is not acting like a strong leader, probably because he isn't. Exactly. Exactly, he's acting like a leader who essentially has a majority of less than zero, which is not the position you probably want someone, the leader of the country, in. This is why he can't really do anything. And if he wants to actually sort these strikes out, the second he does, all the Tories are going to be coming down, collapsing in on him. And it's kind of funny because the Tories really need to be taking a page out of Margaret Thatcher's playbook, because Margaret Thatcher chose when and where to fight her battles. And the thing is, the Tories currently aren't. The Tories are just fighting every single battle they have going for them at the moment, and it is just causing even more mess for them. Oh, Casper Northerner, good morning to you. So the more battles they take on, the worse it'll be for them at the end of the day, and the worse the situation it becomes for them. I mean, pick your battles, guys. Pick your battles. And I think we've got another. In fact, I think this morning, it was announced, we've got an even bigger nurses' strike coming on ahead. Ben, it's a mess that Sunak owns making. He attempted to appease all the factions. Yeah, exactly. is trying to do exactly what Theresa May did. I mean, Theresa May tried to appease everyone. And the thing is, she couldn't. She was never ever going to appease the hard Brexiteers in her party, and unfortunately, that eventually was her downfall. And Sunak, to be honest, is even a far worse place than May was, because at least, though the Tory party was fractured at that moment, it was not fractured as much as fractured as it is now under Sunak. That is absolutely for sure. And we're going to see this week, certainly in around the Northern Ireland Protocol, what's going to happen. So like I say, I'm warning you guys already. It could be a very, very Northern Ireland Protocol week. Just like it was last week, to be honest. But it depends how much fun and games the DUP and certainly the Brexiteers in the Tory party want to have. And they've already signalled that they are ready to play a lot of games this week in regard to that. Oh, PE, good morning to you. Like I say, this is what happens when you hit the like and share button. We've got more people in, so like I say, pull up a chair, hit the like button, hit the share button. Like I say, grab your coffee and I'll do the walking for you. Oh, nearly. Sunak the jellyfish, exactly. He's got nowhere to move. Nope. Got some cows, those of you who missed them last time. Except I think there's another one down there. There he is. I say, I don't think there's any ponies around this morning. He's certainly not on this part, that's for sure. Like I say, it's just absolutely wet at the moment. I just don't think you can get any more wet than this, to be honest. So it's going to be even more wetter, to be honest, because we're talking about, I think, snow. So to be honest, next week we could see a lot of snow in the UK. So that could be fun. It's pea soup and foggy. I'm not surprised. Not surprised in Canada. Oh, but look, we've got some goats. Ooh. I do love goats. They're just crazy. Crazy animals. Yeah. You've got to be kidding. Yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you these as well. They've got pigs. They've got some oinkers, as they say. But out with the puns. It's very true. Very, very true. Oh. Watch out for David Cameron. That is very true. That is very true. But anyway, it's nice to see some different animals. The change here, like I say, just good to get out a bit of a bit of a different walk. To be honest, when we do these things. So, whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Now, hopefully, it's not going to be as muddy here. So no sign of any sunlit uplands. Certainly not today. Certainly not today, that's for sure. No ponies today? No, unfortunately, probably not today. We're the wrong part for some ponies, unfortunately. Like I say, we've had cows, pigs and goats today. So, you know, I'm expanding your variety. I'm expanding our animal wildlife variety today. We've also seen, to be honest, we also saw, although to be honest it was very pixelated, we saw the heron today. So we caught a glimpse of the heron. No triangle. Yes, true. We are avoiding the Barnsley Triangle. Like I say, the Barnsley Triangle it's like right over there in that direction. Going anywhere near the Barnsley Triangle? No, not today. Absolutely not today. We put it this way, I doubt we could even get to the Barnsley Triangle today. It is that wet, and it's just that wet and muddy, to be honest. I mean, if you saw last week, it's even worse. Even worse today. And like I say, I think we're expecting, to be honest, next week it could be snowing. That's how crazy the weather is at the moment. It's been nothing but rain. So I'm surprised it's not raining today. And then it's gone a bit crazy, to be honest, with the weather. It's that wet. That's what she said. Unfortunately, it's good old typical British weather. Sunny in Leeds. Well, it's sunny in Barnsley at the moment, but it's just that wet. It's just difficult to even, you know, navigate some of these paths, unfortunately, because it's just so muddy. But anyway, we haven't been here for a while. We haven't been here for a good while, so it'd be good to have a walk in and around here. So there might be some ponies. Up here, I don't know. So all is not lost for our pony lovers in the chat. But yeah, in regards to, of course, what's going on politically this week, yeah, expect more of the protocol. How good morning. Cold snap coming. Yes, indeed, there is one coming. So it could be, like I say, next week, we could be blanketed with snow. That's for sure. Oh. But I've got to sort of wonder, and I think we'll probably know next week what the reaction, certainly the big reaction, comes from, shall we say, the Conservative Brexiteers in regards to this progress that we've made on the protocol. You know, I've said before, they're risking a lot of stuff. Ahoy, BC Canada. Ahoy, ahoy to you as well. I saw Phil from a different bias mention there's a ginger group. I haven't heard of that. Oh, Larry the Cat, good morning to you. Oh, sorry, Sir Larry the Cat. gotta get the title right. Gotta get the title right. Yeah, I haven't seen that being mentioned, but if ginger group, do you mean it's like an anti-Harry group, perchance? That wouldn't surprise me. But it goes to what we've been saying for the longest time. It goes to what we've been saying for the longest time, that the Tory party is so fractured. So many different ideologies competing against each other along different, factional lines. Everything else. They'll never agree on anything, and it'll get even worse when they're out of power. And as we've said before, people do not vote for divided parties. Historically, in every single country where you've had a party that's divided, people don't vote for them. And yet, like I say today, we'll be visiting my favourite comedy website, Conservative Home, doing a video about what one Conservative thinks he can do to save the Conservative Party from oblivion at the next election. Phil thought the name was more to do with spice. So what, are they like pro Asia Pacific trade or something like that? There are 6 different Tory factions. Well, I don't know. I think there's even more than that, to be honest. I think there's even more than that. Because let's think, you've still got the ERG. There's a net zero scrutiny group. There's the Northern Research Group. That's 3. We've got the One Nation Conservatives. That's 4. We've certainly got this new Boris faction that's forming. So that's 5. We've got the Free Market Libertarians. The Free Market Fundamentalists. That's 6. Oh yeah, you've got the Yimbies, the Yes in My Backyard. You've also got the NIMBYs, the Not in My Backyard. So that's 2 more factions in the Conservative Party. There's also the Green Conservatives as well. And yes, the Green Conservatives do exist. They were the ones who heavily pushed for unbanning onshore wind farms. And then, of course, the Net Zero Scrutiny Group pushed back and got a coal mine. And then there's sort of all sorts of crazy, like, interlocking, like, factions that are nameless. Yeah, it's yeah. Honestly, they're so fractured. It's beyond repair, I think. And this is why I sort of said and supported, look, Starmer's right to come out and say, look, the Northern Ireland Protocol, if it doesn't work, if it goes, or ends, yeah, the Rishi Sunak faction, the one man band. True, that's another one. That's another one. Where was I? What was I thinking now? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, all these different factions. I think they're so fractured once they're out of power, it becomes even worse. But like I say, to any of my American viewers watching, you've got a lot of anger coming yourself, certainly in the House. You know, I did those 2 videos of, hey, watch out for it, the 1922 committee. I wouldn't really call them a faction. They're just, you know, part of the Conservative Party process. I wouldn't really call the 1922 committee a faction in the Tory party. A faction party, Tory party, surely a good thing? Yes, it is a good thing. Because as we've said before, people do not vote for divided parties. That has been made abundantly clear, not just on here in the UK, but in other countries as well. So yeah, it is a very good thing, to be honest, that they are splitting and divided. But the problem comes is that they are the ruling party. The problem comes is when we have these disasters that we've got going on, the NHS, the strikes, we'll go this way. All this stuff going on, the problem becomes that they become so discombobulated that they can't do a thing, and they're the ruling party. So any problem they just can't deal with because no one in their party can actually agree what to do. Of course, so it seems they all agree with the online safety bill. I think so. I know you know a lot more about that particular bill than me, Bakura. But it's all about, shall we say, think of the children. A lot of the arguments, at least when I've sort of seen it. In fact, I tell you what, we'll go this way because I don't know actually where we're going this way. I heard last night that the American Republicans are doing away with the ethics committee. I don't think they are, because I don't think they could get away with it. But I think they're trying to do everything they can to destroy it, because there's a lot of Republicans that have been caught doing some very naughty things, not just on, of course, January the 6th, but other things as well. And they're trying to, shall we say, save them. And of course, most of them are the MAGA Republicans. Hence, we're getting a committee that's going to investigate the investigators, which is going to be absolutely embarrassing. I'm not going to lie. The second that committee starts up, the Democrats should just go to that committee. Don't not be on it, but be on it and just point out how ridiculous this entire committee is, and just make them look like absolute idiots for running this committee. That's what I would do if I was a Democrat in the House. I'd be fighting to get on that committee and just going, yeah, look, these guys are acting like idiots. Like, what are you doing? This is so embarrassing. That's what I would be doing. Yeah, the modicum of intelligence faction. Yeah, very true. I think that's most, to be honest, that's most conservative. I think parties, not only here in the UK, but I think elsewhere in the world. I think you've seen, I think, conservatives really run out of steam. I think when it's come to certainly promoting their ideas and, you know, stuff they would rather doing, and I think we're sort of seeing now the overturn window, as they call to it, I think will be shifting to the left. And I think even Labour can't resist this. But then again, I've said, you know, the biggest voting bloc in the UK isn't the left or the right, it's centrists in the UK. And I've said this because of our system, how it is, you know, with first past the post. You know, Labour needs to at least be getting, 15%, if not more, of those centrist voters. So I do understand a lot of people on the left when they really have a good gripe about, oh, Labour's too far to the right, and you're like, they're not really that far to the right, they're just, you know, left, just trying to appeal to the left centrists. Unfortunately, if Labour wants to win and you want to get the Tories out, then that's the people you have to appeal to. You know, you have to play politics sometimes, but if you want to sort of change that, then this is why the left definitely needs to get behind Keir Starmer's move to change the House of Lords, because we cannot let the right just ride on that, because they will set it up in a way that benefits them. So we've really got to certainly make sure that we are involved and that we are pushing for a House of Regional Representatives. Oh, hang on, I know I'm buffering quite heavily. There we go. Hang on. There we go. I think I'm back to normal. There we go. So yeah, we need the sort of regional House of Representatives, and we need it certainly focusing on, well, you know, proportional representation. You know, this is, if we are looking at the polls and what the polls are saying is true, that the Conservatives are going to be absolutely wiped out, then the left needs to make sure that it doesn't decide just to go, well, we're not going to play ball, that they actually get involved. And unfortunately, as I've said before, in politics, you do not get 100% of everything you want. You will have to look and go, right, what battle is worth fighting? Where can we compromise? And unfortunately, in some cases, even though we want it, can we necessarily get it through at the moment? That's the bing. Mark Saunders. I thought it was Keir Hardie that wanted to reform the Lords, not Keir Starmer. Yep, like I say, well, he is going to sort of reform it, and I think we have to sort of keep him really pledged to that. I think that's the main key, that we do keep him pledged on that and moving forward on that, because if we don't, then it's not going to get changed. And you know, I think we said it before, there was someone from a French newspaper on the left who said, look, you know, House of Lords reform for the left is an absolute no-brainer, you know. And that's my big fear, that a lot of people on the left just will not engage the next general election because, oh, it's Keir Starmer, and then afterwards they won't engage at all, which is the big thing. You've got to engage in politics, even if you're not, you know, 100% agreed with the you know, with the direction that most of these people are going in. No one in the world has ever lost money on underestimating the intelligence of the great masses of the plain people. That is certainly true, unfortunately. You know, there are some really good people on the left. Spiky Cat, can you explain for your non-British viewers what the impact of proportional representation would be compared to the current first past the post? Yeah, I can do that, no problem. So, in terms of sort of, in terms of sort of the current system that we've got. Oh, morning.
Morning, buddy.
So, in terms of sort of the current system that we've got, you've got a couple of very key niche swing seats, and these niche swing seats sort of start off and end with really tipping the balance in a lot of elections. So first of all, a switch away from that would certainly mean that you don't have to rely on these swing seats, that you can then sort of spread out your resources to a wider area to focus on, you know, your electoral net and catching those people in. It will also allow more third parties to take place. I think that will be good. I think you'll see the Greens certainly take advantage of this. I think the Lib Dems will get certainly a good capture of this. But of course, as always, you will probably end up with some far right parties in it. But like I say, politics, that's the game you've got to play. Certainly in regards to that. But a first past the post system would basically break the monopoly that certainly Labour and the Conservatives have on the current political system, and also help think of get more people engaged. Absolutely get more people engaged. I think the more people get engaged in politics, the better. You know, as I said, I'm a very much big believer in people getting in and on local politics. And I've talked about local politics a couple of times on my channel. Of course, you know, they're not my seriously most popular videos, but that's fine, because I want to talk about local politics again. I think it's important. But wary. So the biggest impact will be that, you know, you get more sort of people involved. I mean, we've seen sort of the last election where, you know, we had all those lefty progressive parties in their certainly in play that could have certainly moved the Conservatives out of power if they had all played together. And certainly under a first past the post system, they could all play together and keep the Conservatives out of power by sort of having a greater coalition. And I think that's what you see certainly through a lot of other countries that do this. You do see greater use of coalitions. You do see great use of sort of really different parties coming together to get things done. And I think that's really the key point, certainly in all of this, is that, you know, you've got to come together, you've got to get these through. Many different types of PR, though. Yes, there are many different types of PR in this. Like I say, and I'm a big supporter of a single transferable vote. I think to me that is the best system when it comes to it. What party supported and campaigned for PR in that referendum, and will that change if there is another similar plebiscite? Currently you do not see, even though there is big support. Like I say, remember now, you've had twice at the national level for Labour, you know, the party vote twice for proportional representation. They can't ignore that, because it'll happen again, and it'll happen again, and it'll happen again. So eventually Labour will have to sort of recognise that, and I think this is why the left has to get involved in House of Lords reform, to push for the House of Lords to be a House of regional representatives based on proportional representation, and get through the oomph of sort of reform in the House of Lords, because I think that will be certainly for the better in that regard. Oh, Nico Dismet, good morning to you. Hi all, stay safe. Please stay safe as well. So yeah, like I say, we are coming up to the end. So are you saying that first past the post only works for very large parties? First past the post system, it does only work for large parties, because you've got to really have, and the thing is, any small party does not have the resources to achieve such a large spread. So yeah, it does only very much agree for large parties, or at least well established parties. Yeah, PR, yes, it would have. But again, that's not a very bad thing. Like I say, that's politics. That's how, you know, you run the system. That's how, you know, you will get, as we said before, some right potential. You know, that's politics. That's just how, you know, these things work and sort of shape out, unfortunately. Yep, first past the post ensures there are only two parties. Yep. FTP only works with small populations, e.g. rural councils. Yep. And like I say, you look at the countries that do have first past the post still, and that is sort of, whoops-a-daisy, that is their political legacy, where they've come from, these small rural locations for the, should we say, a wider populace that maybe wasn't there originally. So, as always, guys, like I say, thank you very much for joining me this morning on today's Good Morning Walk. Like I say, a bit of a different location. We'll see what happens next week. Apparently, we're expecting an absolute deluge of snow to come down. So we'll see what it's like next week. If not, it might be a Good Morning Walk indoors, but we'll have to see. As always, guys, like I say, thank you very much for joining me. Have an absolutely fantastic Sunday. Enjoy yourselves. As always, if you can't be safe, be sensible. And yes, we'll see you next weekend. Good Sunday. Yeah, time to watch Laura Kunsberg. I hope I've prepared you enough for it. But yes, enjoy yourselves. Remember to hit the like and share button on your way out. Again, down below there are, you know, links to help support the channel, the Pony Club, the One Off Donation link, Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the Patreon, etc., etc. So yeah, do remember to check those out. And of course, guys, we'll see you all next weekend, hopefully, for another Good Morning Walk. And I'm going to try this Wednesday, hopefully, to do a live stream on Wednesday, because I completely forgot, to be honest. But as always, guys, like I say, we'll see you all very soon, and hopefully next Saturday for another Good Morning Walk.